Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Big up. Welcome in. Good morning. It is not even 9 a.m. here in El Paso, Texas. I've got my big ass cup of coffee. Wait, let me turn that logo. Hang on now. I've got my big ass cup of coffee. How you doing? Look, y'all. That's 2 L's. It's not great, but it's not all bad. Wait, why am I showing this? Excuse me. How you doing? Welcome in. United Spurs of America. Oh my goodness. I don't usually do like immediately after post-match type of thing, but we're here. I've got a beautiful guest lined up in the back. We were chatting before the show, jamming to some great music, getting the vibes immaculate for the show. So just know it's not all going to be doom and gloom. It's not all great. Don't get it mistaken, but it is not all doom and gloom. And I got a few reasons to tell you why. But before I do that, let me bring in my guest. I say guest, but he's really like family. Kuva, how are we doing? 2 losses, man.
Yeah, a bit painful, wasn't it? I mean, there's in every game you should be able to take positives and negatives out of it, but this one there wasn't a whole lot of positives, was there? It was just a sad sort of performance. We were expecting we couldn't play our usual game. Let's face it, missing those key players has hit us hard. Still, onward and upward. Maybe I like what he said though. It's as quite rightly, Jacob and I were sat here before the stream and we're talking some really good vibe music on. It was chill, and I was just saying, should we just not go live? We'll just sit here and chill.
Because we were starting to feel, we were starting to get in a good mood backstage before, and I think some people might tune in. They're going to see Jacob and Coover smiling, having a good time. We just got our second back-to-back L. Well, technically our first back-to-back L, but our second loss in a row. Obviously, Spurs lose away at the Molineux 2-1 to Wolverhampton. And look, right now Arsenal's winning against Burnley, so that would effectively put us at third in the table if we care at this juncture. But I love what Rivals said when we were top of the league. They said, we're not looking at the table in November. We're not looking at the table in October. So, hey, let's keep the same energy. I ain't looking at the table neither. But I hope everyone's doing good.
You can bet they'll be telling us all about the table when they go ahead of us.
They will absolutely be telling us about the table. But before we talk about tables, feelings, how we're doing, any of that jazz, make sure you are hitting a like on the video. You are subscribing to the channel if you want to. You don't have to, obviously. Look, it is 9 a.m. here. I technically ain't even had breakfast. I've been drinking coffee, and I have myself a little bit of toast. And that's what I've been rocking with. So this show, who knows? You might get hungry, Jacob, and maybe I'll get angry. We'll find out. But something that is not making me angry, before the show even started, my good pro club friend and associate down under from Australia says, I didn't vote, but I'm living Big Ange instead. Hit us with the Australian $20 dono. Big up, Nate. This drink's for you. Thank you for the donation to the channel. Big up, Scott M. Good to see you in the house. Back again. And picking up that membership. Big up, Scott. Grabbing the Lover's Lane membership. Good to see you, Scotty boy. Hope you are well. Cal L. Agent is in the house. Has somehow got a worse ref than Sheffield United at home. Big up, Cal. Thank you for the donut to the channel. Kuva, we'll start here since they super chatted. So big up, Cal. How do you feel about the officiating and the refereeing?
Oh, to be honest, I was okay with it. I thought they were just bad, but it was equally bad for both teams. I thought it's just let an awful lot go. I didn't have a huge problem with that. I didn't really blame the referee or the officials for what happened. It was down to us. It was down to you could blame substitutions. You could blame the starting lineup. You could blame the players on the pitch. You could blame loss in form among some of our people.
Can I blame you, Kuva? Can I blame you? Can I blame other fans for having hopes? Can I just
blame the system, brother?
Yeah, but the man is keeping us down, brother. We're trying to prevail, and they are holding it down. Look, what I will say is, it is, no matter what you said before this match as a Spurs fan, it's not your fault. Look at the camera right now. I'm here to tell you, as a Spurs fan, whatever you predicted or said, even if you're shameless as me, shameless as the next guy, it's not your fault. It's not your fault there. Whoever's listening to this live or on playback, big up yourself. It's not your fault. Unless it's Ange Postecoglou. Some people want to blame him. Would you, look, real quick, let me address this super chat. I, for one, Cal, never like to blame the refs. Because even if they're getting it wrong, which I thought there were some things they let go, I personally like it when refs let it get a little physical. I don't know who sang that song, Let's Get Physical, but that's how I feel when I play competitive.
Newton-John, wasn't it?
Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical. I like it because, honestly, it's a physical game, and when you take that out of it, you're really losing an element of the fire in the competition. So I like it personally. I would never complain too much about a ref. Look, I thought Sonny was getting manhandled a lot, but also you got to do some of the manhandling yourself. We were lacking that edge, that aggressive edge. The Romero-esque sized hole in our aggression could be felt. The creative side, Madison sized hole in our attack could be felt the entire match. Look, I woke up at 5 a.m., 5:05 to be exact, to wake up and be ready for this. I was fucking bored. I'm going to have to watch this game back, so I'm not going to give too much of how I felt. This person was playing here, shifting there. Look, I was watching the game as a man who woke up at 5:05 a.m. and I was bored. I mean, actually, 125, 30 seconds in, oh, hell yeah, we're off to the races. This is going to be the whole game, I'm thinking. And then it just... Well, what do you make? What if you could give me an elevator pitch? We're only in the pit. We're only in the elevator for floors 1 through 7, right? I need you to elevator pitch me what happened after we scored that goal. Because I was half awake and I was like, "What the hell's going on here? What are we doing?" It just didn't make sense to me. I couldn't compute. But it was not in the morning for you. So what did you see?
I'm still struggling to come to terms with the elevator pitch I did. What I saw was us unable to continue doing our usual pressing game. Wolves were resistant to it. So we had that lightning start, which was fantastic. And like you said, we were all going, wow, we're back to normal so quickly. But then after that, Wolves were just too strong, too quick-footed. And they were just either shrugging players off or managing to go past them. The press wasn't working. So we then regressed into what we saw a lot of last season, where we're having to, sit back a bit because we couldn't win the ball high up the pitch like usual. It completely threw us off our game. And you started to see Wolves players getting those few seconds on the ball, which they shouldn't have been able to. I'm thinking Craig Dawson in particular, with some of those really long diagonal balls. He shouldn't have been able to get away with picking his passes, but he was, because they were beating that press. It wasn't happening. Whether that was down to the players changing personnel, the fact that we'd dropped a tiny bit deeper, we're playing more passively, is that down to the changes in the team? Or I don't think it was. I think Wolves were just up for it and we weren't. We couldn't find a way to get around it. I mean, I think Lamina was bossing everything in the midfield. I thought he was the most outstanding player on the pitch by a mile. Their left wing back, who I've forgotten the name of already, but he was
Ryan Aït-Nouri.
That's the one.
Left wing. Yeah,
he was a little twinkle toes when it came to beating players. When we tried to impress him, he was just past the player. Kulusevski couldn't deal with him.
Kulusevski. The thing that that Kulusevski had been praised about, which rightfully so, was his winning the ball back in defensive areas and pressing the man. I thought he was largely ineffective, but carry on.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's probably one of his worst games, except for that really good little flick in the box that set up the goal. That we want to see more of that, don't we?
The little back heel to Pedro Porro.
Yeah, and we want to see Porro getting forward like that as well. That's when it's working well for us. You see that kind of thing. But after that, there was just nothing on offer. They They were bossing it.
Yeah.
It was just one of those games where I don't think any substitution was going to change it around. I just didn't see our players. Players like Basuma, Højbjerg, Sarr, usually they can boss the opposition, and they were on the receiving end this time. I think Højbjerg did okay. Not great, but, he did his usual huge amount of energy, huge amount of work. Got overrun a little bit, but I think Basuma was really poor, probably one of his worst games.
Yeah. It's
he
almost
just wasn't in it, yeah.
Rival fans have been taking the piss out of me saying that Luton has broken Basuma. I'm not going that far yet, but I thought I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. He looks like a shell of himself since then. Since he served that suspension, it's almost like he's trying to not be himself. And being himself is what was so great about him the first 9 games. You know what I mean? And why...
I was kind of thinking after he got booked and realized there must have been another suspension, perhaps he would have just said, well, screw it. I'm going to...
Well, he does... I don't think he is he? Is he suspended next week? I don't think he was... I think it reset. I think there was enough time because it's every 10 games, I believe it is.
Well, we'll find out. Well, it doesn't matter if he's playing or not based on this performance, does it?
Yeah.
It just wasn't there. I agree that he's not been the same since Luton game. For me, I thought it was just the fact the opposition were being clever and, man marking him to stop him playing his natural game. Was there evidence of that today? I don't even think it's so much that. I just didn't see that aggressive sort of... You know when you get the untamed wild horse and you just can't hold it down. That's him at his best.
Yeah,
the, rampaging stallion. Yeah, the Mustang. That's it. You would know better than me. Of course you would.
Living out here on the range. I'm actually not on the range, but I like to feed into that notion. I'm out here in Texas. We see Mustangs running past the windows every morning. I agree with you, man.
You're right though. It just hasn't been the same. Lots of people are saying it. I think somebody else saying in the chat there, Luke 14 saying Basuma is out for the Villa game. I think worryingly, the problems we had today are going to be even worse against Villa. I really do. I think they've got that sort of pace and trickery in the forward line that Wolves are lacking. I think
the Wolves were able to get into some dangerous positions early on in that first half through who you just mentioned, Ryan Ait-Nouri, their left wing back. I thought for me that we did what we always do, which is present them opportunities, but we didn't do what we typically do, which is create our own. We did once, and then it was like, where the fuck was that for the entirety of the match? Because I just didn't see it. Again, this is one of those, I tell everyone here, I always go back and watch the 5 a.m. games, the 5:30 a.m. games again, because when I watch them live, I'm fucking struggling. Who's operating James Madison's areas? That's what I'm. It's tough. It's tough. So I don't want to try and speak too much, but from what I did, from
There's not a lot to watch back this time, unfortunately.
I just, where did it go wrong? I don't know. But look, let me say hello to the chat. I see a few of y'all still here. Big up everybody who is tapped in very, very early. This is not a typical time United Spurs of America is live. So big up everybody who is here. Big up Steady as Shark. You get the first place prize. Big up Nate again for that super chat. Teabag is here. Says he wouldn't blame Ange. Ravi, big up. Hit a like. Scott, thank you for the grabbing the membership. And Cal again, thank you for the super chat. Says, never ever been the type of guy to say I told you so to anyone ever, but yeah, just sensed it was coming, says Cal. So Cal felt like this. I think I predicted a 3-1 victory yesterday when we were here. Kuva, I predicted a 3-1. But look, we were all intents and purposes, we could have had that if we had continued to do what we did in the first 130 seconds. If we had just done that, then
yeah, I mean, I predicted the 2-1 win as well, but I remember being very clear about it. The key to our success has been our press. Today, you saw what happens when our press doesn't work. It's not good. It's really not good. Luca 14 saying in the chat as well, he's saying Vancouver, I thought Wolves had plenty of speedy ball carriers and we struggled against that. Absolutely bang on. That's exactly what was happening. Whether they had the speed or the trickery, fleet of foot, or just the strength in some cases to shrug the player off, we just could not get the grips with it. Some of our big-time players like Basuma, like Højbjerg, even Sarr, who's been so effective for us this season, they're really struggling to do anything with it. So,
and I was
they
kind of
won the
curious.
midfield battle.
That is the key there. That is the point that I wanted to speak on next, Kuva, because I was really curious to see who out of our midfield is going to operate that James Maddison role. James Maddison creates more than 3 big chances a match on average. Where were we going to get that creativity? I was on the Football Terrace a little bit earlier, and some fans were saying that how dumb of ANGE to start Højbjerg in James Maddison's spot. I don't think he was occupying those areas. From my half awake brain, I didn't see Højbjerg in those areas. I thought I saw Sarr just kind of wide left a lot. And I'm curious if maybe that was what he was asked to do, was to primarily help out that left side there, because Emerson Royale is going to kind of tuck inside and be that in the midfielding range. So Sarr out left would be able to help defensively with the wingers. So that was kind of what I was thinking was going on. But I was really expecting somebody to come in and have the clear-cut James Maddison role. And I thought Sarr would be the person to operate that.
That drifting out wide left, though, that is what Maddison tends to do in games, isn't it? He goes looking for the ball.
Yeah.
And I think Sarr was literally trying to fill his boots, and clearly he can't do that. It's unfair to expect him to. They're very different sort of players. I mean, I remember when we were doing
but ANGE has said in a press conference when asked about Sarr and what kind of role do you see him as your midfielder now that Bentancur is coming back. Excuse me, I didn't even roll my R on that one. But he said, I see him as a 6, an 8, and a 10. So that naturally would lend me. He didn't say that about Basuma. He just said Basuma's out there doing his thing, and his aggression is what helps him be such a good player. But with Sarr, he was saying, I see him as a 6, an 8, and a 10. And I'm just wondering, I saw the 6 and the 8, but where was the 10? And you're right, Maddison will drift. But where I saw Sarr drifting mostly wasn't like left forward. It was like left midfield. And it just seemed like there was an area where no one was occupying behind Son, where I would have liked to see somebody pulling some strings in there. And like Maddison will drift left. He will come back and pick up the ball in our own box. He will, but he kind of goes all over the place, just not too much out to the right. And so I do agree. I thought Sarr was occupying some of those same spaces, but not necessarily in the way that look, you're right. It is a tall task to ask Papa Sarr, young man, to
anyone.
James Madison's the best creative mid in the league right now.
Yeah.
So anyone doing his role, it's going to be a drop off. So, that part was pretty concerning for me, I have to be honest. I just don't know where it's going to come from. Now, I want to ask you, while we're talking about midfield, Giovanni Lo Celso came on. He had a shot that the goalkeeper saved. Outside of that, I thought he fell over more often than anything else. Maybe I missed something, but what did you make of Giovanni Lo Celso? Do you think because on the Football Terrace, they were telling me, ANGE is so foolish, he should have started Giovanni Lo Celso instead of Højbjerg. Do you think that would have helped us get the result? Because from what I saw I want you to speak on what you saw from Lo Celso whenever he came on the pitch. Do you think he came on and became that creative engine for us?
I think, to be fair, I'd like to sort of bundle him in with the same sort of conversation with Brian Hill, because both came on, didn't they? So they're both looking for a bit of creativity from them. Brian Hill just hasn't got the strength to stay on the ball whatsoever. He ran around a bit and he offered absolutely nothing.
That's what I've always said that he does. But I'm the one who losing faith in a young player. And I've said, I just don't think. I think he's a good, skillful player, just not. He's not going to cut it in this league. I don't see him.
I agree.
You look at wingers in this league; they have what he has plus some fucking size. You know what I'm saying? You can't. I'm not saying you can't be small and be successful in this league. I'm sure you could, but I think there's a reason Lionel Messi never played in the Premier League. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's a
he's
reason.
sensible enough to know where his strengths are and what sort of opposition it's against.
Because in La Liga, they will sit back and give you that space and allow you to dance with the ball, which is what he wants, which is what a player like him needs. And when Ainge got hired, people told me, oh, Brian Hill can come in and be that Ainge Postecoglou winger. I thought, again, he just offered nothing, and his appearance versus Palace offered nothing. But is that down to just maybe he hasn't got enough minutes and Jacobs just being harsh? What do you think? I've never really personally rated Brian Hill, so maybe that's my bias.
Well, from the moment I first saw him, I just didn't see somebody I think's going to make it in the Premier League. I've seen nothing since to change my mind. It doesn't matter if you've got a fair bit of talent. If you can't actually do anything with it during the game, it's pointless, isn't it? That's me kind of done with Hill. I was going to apply it the same rule of thumb to what happened with Lo Celso. When he came on, yeah, he forced a save out of the goalkeeper, but it wasn't really a spectacular one, was it? It was a pretty routine hand up and just tip it over.
And he had tons of space as well to get that shot off. It was kind of ricocheting around, if I remember.
Other than that, he offered slightly more than Brian Hill did, but only slightly. I think he was poor as well. Offered very little. It's two very disappointing substitutes. We needed people to come on and show a bit of combative sort of aggression, take on the likes of Lamina, who was bossing it. We just didn't get that. We saw the shocking lack of squad depth come into play, and it wasn't pretty to watch. That's all I'll say. The positives with the substitutions would be Bentancur coming on, and of course looking like he's regaining his fitness bit by bit. So
he doesn't look completely back. He doesn't look completely back, but that's part of it. You have to work him back, right? You have to get him back with the squad.
Despite the fact they went on to win the game, I thought when Bentancur came on, he gave us a little bit more control in the midfield again. It wasn't a huge amount, but it helped. I think we looked a little bit more shape when he was on the pitch than when he wasn't. We just don't have the players at the moment. It's been exposed in the cruelest way against Chelsea. Not just the bookings and the suspensions; it's those injuries as well that is really hitting us. Let's not forget the likes of Hill was out on loan. Lo Celso was out on loan. They're players that haven't been fancied by previous managers. And I really, really struggle to see how Ange Postecoglou is going to want them long term as well. I really do. There's a lot of, plaudits go out for Lo Celso, but I'm just not seeing why.
I'm not seeing it either personally. But big up, we can blame Faisal actually because Faisal here slept in, didn't even watch. So it's actually Faisal's fault. Faisal, I need better from you. You have an international break to get it together. All right.
It's a team game, mate. If you're going to do that, you know what? I'm not angry with you, Faisal, but I'm disappointed.
Yeah, we expected more from you, Faisal. So you know what? Versus Villa, I need you to wake up, Faisal. But big up everybody in the house. Mrs. RG is catching us live. Says, knew this was coming. Seeing the lineup gave me 2022-23 vibes. Only plus side to this is it helps reinforce to Levy that squad depth is crucial. I can't take another Dyer campaign. Big up, Mrs. RG. Good to see you in the house. Seeing Eric Dyer's face when I woke up at 5:05 a.m. as the poster boy for our lineup, I knew we were fucked. I woke up and I felt like they done it. The admin, it's actually the admin's fault. That's who I'm blaming. Admin, you need to get it together. Why the hell would you put Eric Dyer? Ben Davies would have even been a better choice. Anybody but Eric Dyer. Fucking admin was waiting so hard and so long for Eric Dyer to get their chance because they felt so bad since he had that clue. Oh, don't take a video of me because I know you're not going to use the video of me. And it's like, since then, admin's been waiting for a chance to use Eric Dyer and whatever since they could, and I guess he got his first start, so they put Dyer as that is a curse. You put Dyer as a person.
You mentioned the word curse. I've got a theory about Eric Dyer. I genuinely think the man is cursed because every single time with him, he can play 89 minutes defending pretty well, but for the 1 minute of the game where he isn't, even if it's in like 3 bursts of 15 seconds, where he's not done something right. Every single time it's a goal, isn't it? You see other players, sometimes they'll mess up, mishit a pass or something, get away with it, and you go, oh, we got out of that one with a bit of luck. With Dyer, no. Every time it's a goal. It's like there's some sort of hex on him or something. It's what is it? But you can't ignore it. You know it's going to happen with him. That's why we don't want him at the club. It's 89 minutes of a 90-minute game is not enough, is it?
No, but the thing is, we saw in full display in the preseason Eric Dyer and ANGE Postecoglou's system versus Barcelona, and he could not get back to save his life. When Ben fucking Davies is cleaning up for you, you need to look yourself in the mirror and question, how did I get here? How am I here as a human, an individual, and a person? To where Ben Davies has to do the work that I can't. And no, Ben Davies was probably our best player today. So no shame on Ben Davies. If anything, Ben Davies showed me we can at least use you somewhere. Eric Dyer is fucking useless. He had one moment today where I was like, thank you for that, Eric. And outside of that, it was just like, please don't do that. Please, every time they're attacked, please. Look, I don't. Eric Dyer, I'm so done with you.
Was it badly missed pass place for the first goal and running the wrong way for the second goal?
He needs some milk.
Eric Dyer needs some milk. That's what I'm hearing.
I'm glad we agreed on Ben Davies anyway. I thought if any player on the pitch for us deserved to get that 1-0 win, it was him.
And Vicario. He had some great saves as well. Vicario had some great saves.
I think Porro actually had a good game as well. I heard people were slating him. I thought he was actually pretty good.
I thought he gave us a Pedro Porro performance. I thought Pedro Porro gave us a Pedro Porro performance in the sense that 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But we're still taking a step forward. I just think he is still the best one that offers us anything at this.
I think he was our best player in the first half, but like you said, I think overall Ben Davies edged it.
Nate, Burnley goal. Burnley goal. We've got a super chat from Nate. Burnley goal, if anyone cares. I absolutely care.
Still expecting the Gooners to win that, unfortunately.
Burnley. Come on. We're all Burnley right now. Because if Arsenal win, they top us. If Arsenal win, they go above us in the league. But again, I guess we could say the same thing is if you're not looking. Oh my God, Tomiyasu got bullied off the ball, and number 8 took a shot deflected off of, I believe, Saliba. Or was that Gabriel? One of their world-class defenders just scored an own goal. So how about that? Big up Burnley. Big up Nate. Thanks for the super chat, my friend.
That's really harsh. It's like, it doesn't matter how good a defender you are, you're going to get an own goal.
Oh, and as I said that, Saliba just scored.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he just scored.
Yeah,
it's
looking like a bad weekend.
Why do I have this on my fucking screen? I knew it would make me mad at some point.
Get the music back on again, Jacob.
Let's go back to listen to some Karang Bin. That's a lot more fun. Big up Wayne Bonner. Let me say hello to some people in the chat. Just make sure y'all know that I see you and I love you and I appreciate you. But fuck Arsenal, fuck Saliba. Big up Wayne Bonner in the house. David Calvino is here. Says we've got our Tottenham back. That's kind of funny. Big up Letty. Letty's in the house. Says hi, Jacob. Hello. Worst performance of the season? Asking Teabag. Yeah, and I thought last week was our worst performance. But you know what? We topped ourselves. So, hey, how about that? Saher, Dyer, and Davies brought us back Spursy again. Davies, again, I can't really blame him. He was trying his damnedest. And I think for that second goal, yeah, he was kind of lazy in that second goal. So was Dyer. And guess what? Lamina literally just, like he was shopping at a fucking mall, just... when you're shopping at a mall and there's people in front of you walking a little slow, so you're like, let me just speed up a little bit and walk right through them. That's exactly what he fucking did to Dyer and Davies. No one marked him, but you know who he was in front of? I don't blame Davies as much because it was behind him, but you know who saw the guy going in front of him and did fucking jack shit about it?
Yep.
It was Eric Dyer.
You can guarantee if it went the other way round, Davis would have thrown himself into that at least.
He would have. Yeah, he would have done something. He would have reacted rather than Eric Dyer at Barcelona. Anyway, I'm not. Anyway, big ups.
Eric Dyer. Oh, look, there's a goal happening over there.
Here he is. Here's Hussam from This Is Football. Says, "Good day, mate. See you at 10." I did go on his show saying we are not going to lose to Wolves. And I did also say, he said, so win, lose, or draw, you'll be on my show for a cooking. And I said, yes. And then, of course, as the final whistle goes, guess what? I get a voice note from Hussam on my WhatsApp, and they're all excited. They're all excited. They're going to have a fun time. But look, you can't cook.
That's football, isn't it? I mean, you're supposed to.
Football tribalism. Yeah. And I'm not afraid to put my face out there. Let them say what they got to say. Go ahead and say it.
Might knock us down a few times, but going to keep swinging.
Exactly. We are ANGE mentality around here. All right. We may go down a couple men, but I ain't going to stop me from being myself and attacking. So big up Ravi, big up Cursor in the house as well. James Paratrooper, big up Alan 10-inch Sibley, big up Jacob and Kuva, big up Alan 10-inch. Kuva, I was listening back to our show last night, and I started dying laughing when I was like, oh, my wife just texted me and said my son's asleep and I need to keep quiet. And then you said, what you need to do is tell her, I'm sorry. That shit. Oh, that cracked me up. Anyway, let's think about the fun stuff. Absolutely. Chelsea Blue and Blue says, Chelsea set the pace for this losing streak. They definitely took a half of our core 8 and dismantled them. And then
you could also say we set the pace for it. It was our stupidity getting 2 cents off. So
fair, yeah, exactly. Exactly. That was our fault going down to 9 men, and now we didn't play with. Do you think even a Destiny would have changed the outcome of this game? Do you think that it could have been?
Yeah.
Because we could have had Destiny, Royale, and Davies.
Yep. Could have. And
big up Luca.
When Kulusevski was ineffective as well, he could have had Royale go over to right back, Destiny slot into the left back role, and push Porro further up the pitch, give us a bit of pace and creativity up the front. If we'd had both of those on him, Porro on one wing and Brennan Johnson on the other, maybe that could have given us something. But we never know, will we?
Yeah. We'll never know. Spurs GCTV says, have you noticed the last 2 games we score early, then it all goes pear-shaped? Are we better conceding first half than go hell for leather for 70 minutes and blow them away? It's kind of strange. When we score early, we capitulate, right? But I don't think that that's a tactic issue or an Ange Postecoglou philosophy issue. I think that is these players, these players. It's the same thing.
They did it often enough last season and the season before, didn't they?
Yeah. We've seen this.
It's got to be the players.
This shit has been occurring since before Mr. Postecoglou was the manager. But you know what is a constant? I'll tell you what a constant is from last year. Let me just start off by saying Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Emerson Royale, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Dan Kulusevski. You could even throw Papa Matasar in there. Son. This was a constant last year that was ineffective. And it's like when the more you have from this, the more it's going to remind us of last year, right? Whereas we're missing our James Madison, Romero, Van de Veen, Udogie. I mean, look, we still should have gotten the job done, in my opinion.
I'm not going to blame Ange Postecoglou for what happened today, but if he keeps picking the players that give him this kind of performance and it just keeps happening, then you've got to start asking questions at some point, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I think most fans now are surely going to be on the let's just ditch Eric Dyer and get somebody else in. Even if you're playing like an Ashley Phillips alongside Ben Davis, I think I'd prefer to see that, wouldn't you?
That's what we wanted, right? Before, when we did the predictions for the show, for the match, we all wanted Ashley Phillips, no Dyer. Is that Ange's fault for him trusting a seasoned vet? I mean, if you look at it from his perspective, he's coming in, he's like, oh, how long has this guy been here? 10 years? Surely I can count on this guy for one fucking game. We almost had a clean sheet.
To be fair, I did say put Dyer in the starting lineup, but My idea was a lot different. I was going to pack the midfield and make sure the ball didn't get to Dyer.
Something else that was talked about on the post-match show on the Football Tears, a rival fan came on and said that he was taking the piss out of me for saying that for bigging up Ainge after the Chelsea for sticking and resting on his laurels and going out on his own account type of thing. I was giving praise to that, and he said, well, what happened to that? Because today it seemed like y'all's back line was way more further back. You were not so eager to press. Do you think that's Ainge changing his tactic based on who we have, or what do you think that's amounted to?
What do we know about Eric Dyer? He always backs off anyway. I don't think you're going to get anything out of him. Is that a tactic from the start? Possibly not. I think it's more forced upon us because we could not press to save our lives today. We just had nothing, which meant it forced us back because they were able to pick their passes. It was just a really, really bad performance. There's no getting away from it. And when we go to the conversation of, blame Ange, well, you can if you want, though. Ultimately, he takes responsibility because he picks the team and he's the only one that can change it at that point. So, if you're going to hang him for it, fair enough. But you've also got to look at the times when we're winning games because he makes the changes and things. So it's a long-term project, but today, got to say, that was not working. That was a really horrible watch.
Yeah. I thought I was like, am I just sleepy or is this fucking boring?
And
it
was just a flashback to last season, wasn't it?
Yeah. What happened to our philosophy of even if we're down or up a goal, we're still going for the goal? Where was when did we go for goal again?
We just couldn't seem to manage it. There were just, I think like Højbjerg kind of summed up a lot of it because we're forced backwards. His defensive side of things was, pretty good. He was putting in the shift, but whenever he got on the ball, he did nothing with it. It was really wasteful. I saw that with a lot of players. I just don't see any way with the personnel we had, we're really going to get around it because they were just doing everything we couldn't cope with. Pace, power, able to beat the press. That's our game taken away from us right there.
Yeah.
It's what we were seeing the after effects of. How were we going to change that? Well, we brought other players on, and if anything, I thought it got worse with some of them. The Celso and Hill, even less pressing up front. Bentancur was a positive. Davies was a positive. Porro and Vicario were. And I think Brennan Johnson a little bit. Sonny did absolutely nothing. But, I mean, can you blame him? He just didn't get the ball given to him. So, what do you do?
36 touches.
You're looking with your captain. Yeah, you're then looking with your captain having to get any touches on the ball. He would have had to done what Kane used to do and drop into his own.
Back, yeah.
And Kane got slaughtered for that, saying that's not playing as a centre forward. But what can you do? You either stay up there and get no service, or you drop back, get touches of the ball, but then you can't score.
I thought Son got dispossessed kind of easily today, and I thought Brennan Johnson. There was a comment I believe from Luca 14 that was saying earlier that he felt that same way too, that they're getting the ball taken off him. I was looking at some of the numbers here for Son. He only had 2 dribble attempts. So people saying, this and that about Son, like he didn't have the ball a whole lot. I don't know what he's supposed to do, when he does it. But that's our fault. And I think that's a clear showing of, look, without Madison, who's getting fucking Son the ball? We're missing so much with Madison being gone. Are we Madison FC, Kuva?
Well, there's certain players that we clearly cannot play Ange ball without. I'd say Madison and Van de Ven are the biggest. Well, if I'll throw in Romero for that. That core of players, Vicario, Romero, Van de Ven. Normally, you'd say Basuma as well, and Madison with Sonny putting the finishing touches on it. That's your core that you need to be performing. You take some of those out. I think the injuries we got are to the most influential players we got out on the pitch, in my opinion. I think Van der Ven has been that good for our defence. He's absolutely given us a solidity that we've been missing for a long time. Maddison is on fire, isn't he? Like I said, my most creative player, one of the most creative players in the Premiership, if not the most creative at the moment. And it's gone now. So the wheels have fallen off at the moment. So we're going to have to try and find a way to put them back on and fast. Otherwise, we could even be out of the top 4 conversation if we don't find a way around this.
Well, the good news is
coming up before January.
Yeah, the good news though is Kuva. Today was missing 4 of the core 8. Whenever the fuck we play after this international break, we'll be missing 3 of the core 8, and then after City,
Basuma's out. Wait, Basuma's out for the Villa game, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it reset after 10 games. I thought that's how it worked. Like, you have the first 10 games, the second 10, it's like broken up like that. That's how I thought it worked. So clearly I need to read up on the fucking rules.
I think it's all complicated things because he did pick up a booking in recent games or something like that. I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe like it carried over or something. Yeah, there might be some.
To be honest, I don't really concentrate on that sort of stuff. I prefer to work on what I can see on the pitch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think a doggy back is going to be a big boost to the team without doubt. We missed him badly. Emerson Royale, like you said, we agreed on. He's got the vibes. There's everything about him I really do like. He's just not a good player. And when he's got to play left back, he's even more out of his comfort zone. I thought he was getting a new one all game. It's just lucky that Semedo is not very good at creating the chances. He's good at getting into the positions, using his pace to get past people. But if it had been somebody with a bit of talent, I think we could have been getting spanked a lot harder than we did. It is what it is.
They're saying it resets after 19, so then that would mean that. So we are again going to be missing core. We're going to be missing half of the core 8. Isn't that lovely? Love to see that.
Against the Villa team brimming with confidence.
Oh, Moussa Diaby's absolutely tearing it up on the right side right now as well.
The only thing that goes in our favour is we will be at home and they don't play very well away from home. If we were going to Villa Park, I'd be hiding behind the chair. In fact, I might not even watch.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even want to think about it. At least we got 2 weeks to... Oh my goodness, we're struggling here, Kuva. I think we all need some milk, Jazz Fusion. Big up everybody who's here, Jazz Fusion. I see y'all. I see everybody here. I'm making sure I say hello to everyone. Big up. I see you. Alan Sibley texted me. Alan Sibley's been doing some real life stuff, but always good to see Alan Sibley here. Texted me and said, our squad depth is the big issue, and it's going to cost us this season. As I keep saying, I have no expectations this season. If we get 4th or 5th, I'll count that as a big bonus. That's kind of what I said in the summer, and I feel like now I kind of talked to you yesterday about should my expectations change. Look, we had 10 matches of fantastic football. Is it time to change my expectations from where they were in the summer? And I guess today answered that for me. No, keep your expectations the same, Jacob, which is...
Or do what I've been doing. I've said, I'm not shy of being called a flip-flop. Well, my expectations in the summer were finish 8th and just, build on something for next season. But the way we started off and the sensational results, so I thought, why not? Let's have a go at this title. It's a pipe dream. It's a very, very long shot we had. But my expectations changed from we can win the title to, oh well, it was a good dream, but that's over. Let's see what we can do now. So we're kind of back to square one, which fits in with what he's saying. You should have kept your expectations of what they were in the summer, because now it's forced on us. So are we going to have a look at the youngsters in the next games? I think that for me becomes a bigger question.
Yeah. I was ready to start looking at the youngsters already, but maybe ANGE needed to say, I gave you a Premier League start, Eric Dyer. Now this is why Ashley Phillips is getting, because look at that fucking second goal, you lazy person. Like, I have some ANGE quotes that I do from the post match that I do want to go over. But big up Alan Sibley, also sending in a super chat. Big up Alan 10-inch says AvCon coming up soon too, lest we forget. Thank you for that, Alan. Good thing we ain't forgotten, but he's right. And I think Arsenal just scored again. Fuckers. 3-1.
Yeah, but Burnley are going down and they're conceding a lot of goals.
Company might get the fucking sack tonight. Company might actually get the sack tonight.
I think they'd be silly to. I think they need to stick with him, but they've got to realize.
I personally kind of like his gung ho approach, but sometimes you don't live too long in the West being a gunslinger. They say.
True, but you do also have your moments, don't you?
Oh yes, you do, and then you can become a legend because then they're like, oh Speedy,
right.
Oh Speedy Pistol Pete. You know what I mean?
Billy the Kid did not live very long, but he's still remembered.
Tough. It's fucking tough. Big up, Mia's here. Big up, Mia. Good to see you. How are you doing? Says, hey guys. Tequila says, big up, Kuva, Jacob, and chat. Hope you all are well. Yes, we are here. We are thriving. And again, Kuva, I wish we could have just made the whole stream what we were doing before the show started, which was just chilling, listening to some really good music, and then talking about the music. Because guess what? There's no losses in music. We didn't concede 2 in stoppage time when we listen to music, but anyway, there we go. Let's see who else is here. Wayne Bonner. I don't know if I already said hello, but big up Wayne Bonner. Lycurgus. I barely know her. Says Ainge had Phillips and chose Dyer. Ainge played 3 defensive midfielders and brought on Hill to close out a game. Ainge never rotated Madison, and he then gets injured. He actually did rotate. Madison got subbed out of every match, I think, except for one. Some very poor choices. Look, there are some of those choices I do agree with you, but as far as this one saying Ainge never rotated, that's not true. He has rotated him.
They're only poor choices if they don't work, do they? If it had worked, wouldn't be saying it. So
yeah, it's kind of the same thing with Chelsea as well. It's kind of the same scenario with Chelsea. If we had gone on to equalize or even win that with 9 men, the people were upset about Ainge being media darling before, but if we had done that, then look,
imagine that was keep going back to it, but imagine that Chelsea game just before they scored their 3rd. Imagine what would have happened at the ground if we had equalised those seconds before when Sonny had that chance. The crowd would have gone absolutely ballistic, and all 9 of those players would have been bouncing around the pitch with an extra spring in their step because they're just doing the impossible and believing in it. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work, and we did then concede another one as well. So it's, swings and roundabouts. You got to take your chance sometimes. This is why I believe in the manager. I'm not one for sitting back and just taking what you're told to I've given to you. That's why I'm so surprised by this performance today. I thought we were going to see a lot more fire and fight and aggressive pressing, and it just wasn't there. Is that down to the manager? I can't believe it is. I think there's something wrong there with this combination of players. It just doesn't sit right. As soon as they're under pressure, we go backwards. It's hard to say. All I know is give it a couple of years' time, we will have forgotten about a lot of these players.
I cannot wait till some of them are gone. Big up JC says, hey Jacob, how are you? I didn't watch today's game, but read some of the commentary that Spurs were playing defensively. I don't believe that, so I came to your stream to ask. Really? Kuva, would you describe the way that we played was defensive? Or would you... Yeah. I would say it was like we've been punched in the gut, and now we're trying to protect our gut, and we just got punched in the face. That's what happens in boxing. You take a couple, and now you're like, oh shit, that kind of hurt. Bam, bam. Now you're down. And that's the best way I can. JC, we weren't.
Yeah, we're forced back on the ropes and trying to hang on. Yeah,
and we got our ass kicked. And but I have the rest of the day to just sit and think and the first 130 some seconds, Kuva was like, fuck yes, we're back. It doesn't matter. Fuck everybody. Even with all these injuries, we still get the job done. But just like with Chelsea, you don't win a match in the first 15 minutes.
You're right. Again, if we'd hung on for those final minutes and saw out a 1-0 win, I would have been saying, you know what, not an enjoyable performance, but such resilience. You got to take something from it. But we didn't even get to have that. So it's just we took a beating. It's fair and square. We deserved to get beaten, in my opinion. Except for Ben Davis, I think he he deserved his clean sheet and didn't get it. And it just proved what we already know. And I think Ange needs to see for himself, and he is now, that players like Dyer cannot be trusted for 90 minutes. And Emerson Royale is clearly not a left back. He struggles to be a right back, in my opinion, but at least he's got something there.
He's at least, I think he's still better than Davies in that position. He's not great, not good, but we literally have no backup left back.
Yeah.
We don't have one. So we are in this position where we are having to cope, and we have failed to do so last week and today. And honestly, the first two international breaks, I was very upset that they were disrupting us and doing that to us. But maybe we need this. We're playing one game a week. This shouldn't be an excuse. It shouldn't be fucking, yay, we get an international break so the players can rest. Maybe we are Madison FC.
Every break we have at the moment is at least another game where we don't have to play it without Madison and Van der Ven.
Yeah. Big up Spurs. GCTV sending in a super chat says, big up Chewy, dreaming of our next win. Look, he did not want to show up for the fucking show today, but I said we just took an L. This is what I make fun of Arsenal about, that they got a dog to help them feel better after they lose. And you know what, Chewy, thank you for being here.
You know what, Chewy sums up. He is a proper Spurs dog. He goes missing when times were good, but when it goes back to normal, he's in the doghouse.
Nah, he's like, I don't want to go in there and get flamed, but hey,
I'm just gonna sleep this weekend out.
Big up Spurs GCTV. Thank you so much for the donut to the channel. Big up everybody who is here, even if you are a rival fan. Look, Exodus, I don't think is a Tottenham fan. Is that a Tottenham logo in your thing? No, it is. It is. I see the cock and ball above the Exodus FC. It says Basuma has really dropped off since his red card. Are you worried about Basuma going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it kind of seems like it's a psychological thing now. Maybe he's now got doubts about his own game because he gets red carded for it. I don't know. He's definitely not the player he was. So there's worries. You feel the same doubts with Bentancur because it was such a serious injury. You think, can he come back and be the same player? I'm more confident of Bentancur coming back to be his old self than I am with Basuma at the moment.
Wow, that's saying something.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. He's just kind of lost his way a little bit. He's lost his mojo.
I feel like, yeah, it's like they did. I wonder if it's the yellow card thing. Maybe he hears all the noise about this guy's the most carded midfielder in the last 3 years in the Premier League, and he barely even played last year.
Yeah.
He's got.
I think
I got faith. I still think he's going to come good. He just needs to get that je ne sais quoi back. The thing that makes him Basuma, that I feel like is his aggression, is his ability to just throw people to the left and the right, pick up the ball and drive with it. Like
again, it's the Romero argument, isn't it? Do you want to tell the player to stop being that player, to stop them getting cards, or do you just say, you know what, be yourself, go out there, and if you do get a suspension from yellow cards, so be it. We'll just deal with it. At least
you same idea with Ainge. At least you went out on doing what you are known to do. It's tough. Look, Lycurgus says Ainge saw what happened with Conte and Mourinho when they played Dyer, and then he decides to play Dyer. Do you think he's approaching it as like maybe it's a clean slate, so let's give Eric Dyer a chance? I don't know. What do you think? I don't want to talk too much about Dyer. I feel like we spent a lot of time talking about Dyer, and you can't solely blame Eric Dyer for the loss. You can blame him for moments in that match. I'm more blaming everybody.
Did Ange really see what Conte and Mourinho did with Dyer? Because I can't have thought he'd be that interested in what was happening at Spurs during that point.
So, because he was winning a treble last year, and then the year before that, he was doing a double.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit. He's a little preoccupied.
You can look at old videos and things, but I think for a manager, they have got to spend time with them on the training pitch, see what they see there. Obviously, Dyer must have done enough to convince Ange that he's worth starting ahead of Phillips. So who am I to judge Ange for that? I can just say, from our point of view as fans, we would prefer to take the gamble on Phillips rather than know what we're getting from Dyer. Perhaps Ange thought he could iron out some of those flaws from him and that lack of concentration that ends up costing us, but clearly didn't work today. So why would we assume that it can work tomorrow? I think I think this is the biggest test for him. It's going to be this period, isn't it? Because some of these players available are not good.
So
others have stepped up. Ben Davies again today. I thought he was really good, really good. We'll see what we get. This is what management's all about. It's dealing with the difficult times.
Absolutely dealing with the difficult times. There's some things I do want to run through with you here, Kuva, before we say goodbye for just a temporary moment. There's some Ainge quotes I want to discuss, so let's bring those up. Without further ado, look, Ange Postecoglou admitted that Spurs simply ran out of legs after conceding twice in stoppage time. Says, quote, let me take down this comment real quick. Big up everybody in the chat. Keep hitting those likes if you don't mind. I do appreciate it. Even if you're here to see me in pain, you getting it. You're welcome. But if you're here, you know, big up Paul Longworth, Ian McKenna. I see y'all. Arsenal DeGroot is here having some fun. Daniel E, big up. Who's News? Citizen Scott says, told ya. Citizen Scott, this is the first time I've ever seen your name here. What did you tell me and when? Because did you change your name? That's what I would say. First 15, we were rocking. Yep, just like with Chelsea. First 15, we're 15-minute FC or something. I don't know what's going on here.
The last comment, totally agree with as well.
Wolves
are a better side than people are giving them credit for.
Oh, Ian McKenna, Wolves are better. Yeah, the City went there and lost as well, lest we forget. I mean, that's the coping mechanism that I just used right there. But hey, Howie's saying we're at least 2 windows away. I'm going to get back to he's having some fun. He's having some fun, Arsenal DeGroot. Duly delivered. You guys should keep to what works for you. Attack, attack, attack. J. Cole says,
I'd agree. I just don't think we could manage it today. I think we were trying to.
Yeah.
Wolves are just outplaying us. All those 1v1 battles in midfield, it looked like they were winning. Almost all of them. They were more powerful, quicker with their feet. Even their fullbacks were taking the mickey out of us when we tried to press them. They were just up for it, played really well. No complaints, no whining, no complaining about referees from me or VAR or any of that. We just lost. That's it. You could say we ran out of steam, but I think on the run of play overall, Wolves deserved it. I'm not going to hide and say they didn't. They did deserve it. So fair play to them.
Fair play. Yeah, they did deserve to win. They were attacking. They were on us. In the first half, second half, they were going for it, and they deserved to win. Let's be brutally honest. They deserved to win. I thought. Thought the scoreline kind of flattered us there in the first half and the beginning part of the second half as well. Like the first half of the second half, if that makes sense, was very disappointing to see as well. I'll go on to read some more of these quotes from Ainge. Says, quote, obviously it is disappointing the goals going in so late and we were working hard up until that point. He goes on to say, we ran out of legs at the end, but credit to Wolves, they came at us and scored a couple of really good goals. I cannot question the effort and the commitment. In the first half, we scored a good goal and then played a bit conservatively. A bit. Yeah, we did a bit. And then he also says, I did not think we were as positive as we could be. The second half was a bit better, but there is a lot of players having their first start and we were never going to get the same fluency. Again, echoing a lot of the things that I felt while watching that.
At least he's not coming out and saying, I thought we deserved to win that, or Brendan Rodgers style saying, I thought we dominated that. We controlled the game.
We were in the lead for a majority of that.
He's just saying, look, it wasn't it wasn't as good as we could have done. And then he explained why. I'm fine with that. It's a move on. It's a bad result, bad performance.
It's just one of those times you got
positives, but not a lot.
When you're changing diapers on a child, sometimes you escape clean. Sometimes you get some poo-poo on your hands. And you know what? Today, we got the poo-poo on our hands, and then we wiped it on our face a little bit on accident, and the next thing you know, we need a shower.
And then right at the end, a little bit more come out than we're expecting as well.
Yeah, and it's all over the floor now too. Oh, more poo-poo. Some more quotes here from Angel in the post-match says, quote, "It is always a tough game here. Wolves are always going to come on strong, and we ran out of legs at the end. It's understandable. A lot of those guys haven't played, and they scored a couple of good goals. Hard one to take. Wolves are tough to beat. They came at us. We could have been more positive first half. We scored early, played conservatively. We had chances we could have taken, but we did not. And you know what? It is... Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. That the first goal, the Sarabia goal, what a well taken goal that was. I mean, you can highlight that we didn't defend that well, which we didn't. We should have coped with it a bit better. But the sheer the run, the sheer control with the 1 foot and rifling in perfectly with the other, got to admire that. That was a really good finish. Second. That's the one that was harder to take for me, because that's basic. Like you said, one of the central defenders, and I'm looking at you, Mr. Dyer, would have had a full view of that and didn't move.
He moved just at the same rate he was already moving,
way, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah, fucking. I'm gonna get cooked later. Look, I'm live on Hassam's channel later today. We are over an hour here on the show. Please do hit that like if you haven't already. Obviously, like, it's very early. Games are still going. I wasn't expecting as big of a crowd as normally. So everyone that has been here, there's been about 50 of y'all the entire show. So big up yourself right now. We are on 40 likes. Let me check in on the poll, see how we're doing there. 91 votes. 51 people voted in the poll and did not like the video. I'm on to you, you frauds. I'm on to you. Bunch of bozos. But hey, you can live the life you want to live. Bozo the Clown still had a very fun life. But 91 votes and 41 likes. Y'all clearly just are here not for the love. But right now, let's see what everyone's saying. Who are you thinking was at fault for today? 65% says squad depth is as awful as we thought. 20% says Ainge and his tactics are at fault for today. And then 8% respectively says the execution of the game plan is at fault, and or no one's at fault. We're just all bad.
Wish I'd changed my vote to execution of the game plan was at fault.
Yeah.
He's and says it right there in that press conference after that we played more conservatively than we should have, and basically the players coming in were struggling to give us the usual fluency we have. So I think there you go. That'll do me. It ties in with what I was saying, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely agree there. But look, y'all, I think that's going to do it here for the show. Not the longest, not too many great things to talk about. I love when we could sit here and be like, who's our man of the match? Who's our BDE of the match? But we don't do that here after a loss. And unfortunately, the Victory Kangaroo will not be seen on stream. Not today, not tomorrow. We got to wait till Villa to see if the Kangaroo can come out and play. So,
as I said on streams earlier as well, when it comes to, people like to talk about cooking other people or roasting them. And
I'm getting cooked tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said to you last night as well, Jacob. We are fans on YouTube. So as far as I'm concerned, I've got no fear about being wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't give a toss.
Even the guys getting a salary to talk about this still get it wrong.
Yeah. So
I'm not afraid of getting it wrong and supporting my club. That's me personally.
So if they want to come on and give it large about you being in the mud, then let them. I couldn't give a damn. I couldn't give a damn. I'm sticking with the opinion I had earlier on in the season that when we were at the top and we were playing pretty well, even when we weren't playing at our greatest, we were still finding a way to win. So I thought, why not? We could go on and win the league. It's being a long shot to complete outsiders. It was always going to be up against the odds, but it hasn't come off. So I was wrong. And you know what? I don't care about being wrong. I'm still going to enjoy this season. We will finish the season well. We're just going to have a rocky patch at the moment when players start coming back. All's good again. All's good again. I believe this manager will find a way to improve things in the meantime.
Yeah. For me, I would say my final thoughts are this. Like, we knew we all said there's 8 key positions. You take half of that out, you're going to look a lot different. And we did. We looked a lot different. I'm not blaming Ainge. I'm not. I don't blame him for having to start. Did he choose Eric Dyer and Ben Davies to be our backups? He did not.
I think if we carry on playing exactly the same team and getting exactly the same results,
then yes,
then you question the manager.
Very good fucking point there, Kuva. If we start this same 11 again and we lose, I'm blaming Ainge. I'm absolutely blaming Ainge, because you have to change what we saw today. You absolutely have to change it. Regardless of who's there, who's not there, you have to fucking change it, because it was not good enough to beat Wolves, and therefore it will not be good enough to beat Villa. It won't. And so to do that again would be absolutely foolish. I hope that's not the case. Look, he's got 2 weeks of this taste of defeat. The whole club, the players in that locker room have 2 weeks of this defeat to just linger around. I hope that we use that as a catalyst. I hope that we use that as a moment. I've said before, I want to see what Tottenham looks like after we have back-to-back losses. I fucking got it today. I got it. I got my wish. It wasn't actually a wish, but I got what I'm looking for, which was the next test. We failed this test today, but we've got another test coming up. How do we respond after 2 losses?
I think the bit that's going to worry Ange the most about today is the press didn't work. And that is our thing. If we can't do that, the whole system comes
We
apart.
know Højbjerg's not a good presser. We know that. We know. I mean, I think there's just a lot more wrong than just the press, but you're right. The press was very ineffective today, and almost lackadaisical. It seemed like we were had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, not really committing to anything. But look,
I think you got to credit Wolves for that as well. I thought they were excellent today. If they get a cutting edge up front again, they're going to take some stopping as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could say he's not going to do the quadruple on Manager of the Month awards, because he's gotten 2 losses in my birth month, which actually hurts just a little bit more than I think about it, because this is my month. And this is when everyone's saying look, not sure if I'll be back tomorrow with something. Maybe not. If not, we'll be back Monday here on the channel. You can find me later. I will be on This Is Football. Sam has got a slew of guests just ready to lay into me for enjoying my club doing well. And you know what? So be it. If that's the crown I must wear, let the weight not be bared. But I will say, big up to everybody who has tapped in and hit that like. I'm looking right now. There's 46 of y'all who hit the like, so big up to every single one of you who did. Nate with the super chat, thank you for your donation. Scott M picking up your membership, big up. Thank you for that, and good to see you back. Funny we see you back after 2 losses, Scotty, but no worries. You were always welcome, win, lose, or draw, Scott. You're part of the family. Cal L Agent, thank you for the dono as well. Nate did double super chats today. And then Alan 10-inch Sibley, always supporting the channel in every way possible, reminding us that AVCON will be...
What a big uplifting super chat.
This is the one I want to just remember. Let's put that in our rear view mirror and just remember it's right there behind us, much like a police officer pulling us over for not wearing our seatbelt. But big up Spurs GCTV as well, with a little Chewy love. Maybe ending the super chats with a little bit more positivity. But you know what? We are supposed to never stop. And you were right. Well, who's new? Wolves didn't stop. Wolves were Ainge Postecoglou style, and then we stopped. And that's absolutely spot on there. Yeah. Run Devil Run, big up, says next game Phillips and Davies as center back.
Yeah, I agree.
Has to be. Has to be. Ed Sweeting, big up. I don't think I've said hello. Positive is we've got max of 2 more games of Dyer. Ainge won't play him at left center back when Romero returns. I don't want to see him at right center back when Romero's gone. I don't want to see him ever again. But I'm gonna end the poll. I don't understand how in the poll we could damn near hit 100 when there ain't even been damn near 100 people watching. But the poll can hit that. but the likes can't. Come on now.
It's just shocking disrespect. That's what it is.
Today's a shocking day. Today is a shocking day. But what it's not shocking is the folks that have hit the like and are here supporting with love and partaking on the poll. I'm going to end that poll there at 96 votes. 50 people not hitting a like button is questionable. It used to be 30. The last week it went up to 40, and now we're at 50. We're falling apart, not only on the pitch, but in the YouTube chats as well. But that's okay. I've got a lot of love for every single person, whether you like, dislike, love, or even hate this program. We got a lot of love for you, whether you like it or not. And I'm not too upset. Again, I'm going to put on some nice tunes. I'm going to enjoy my family for a few hours. A lot of things to be grateful for in my life. So you really can't get me down. Yep, Spurs are trying to. But hey, 2 losses. A lot of other clubs have more than that this season. Still, we're sitting in and around the top spot. We'll be all right. City will probably win tomorrow, go 4 points clear. We all knew that they were eventual. But you know what? Next week will be fucking A. It'll be what it's going to be.
We were sitting in the crow's nest of the ship, but the storms hit, and now we're just hanging onto the mast.
Yeah, let's just
of the way up.
Gotta love it, Kuva. Big up, buddy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Win, lose, or draw, we're here showing our faces, talking our shit, and enjoying ourselves. So that's what it's all about. Big love to everyone who has tuned in. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Maybe something tomorrow, don't know. So hit that notification bell, and you will find out when the next time going live. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, we'll find out as things transpire. But
and big up to some of the rival fans that pop on, because it's all just a bit of fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's all fun. Good, yeah, get in here, talk your shit, enjoy it. We've taken 2 losses.
Yeah. Deserve it.
Yeah, we earned those 2 losses. They were not given to us. Right. We went out there and grabbed those losses by the fucking
Do
horns.
not be kind. That's just patronizing.
Yeah, don't take it easy now. But hey, either way, you may not talk to me nicely today, but soon you will be talking nicely to Jacob again. I know that much. But hey, until next time, folks, stay blessed, stay fresh, up the lads. You know what? Come on, you fucking Spurs. You know, come on.
Yeah. Come on, you Spurs. Like
coys.
Bit of coys. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Have a great rest of your day, folks.
United Spurs of America with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.